the old Central Station by the Massapequa girls soccer team. There were about 35 to 40 girls that showed up, worked 4 hours of painting, got just about, did the whole South Station except for the high spots, and most of the, just about all of the Central Station here. Driving by that was an eyesore, and you had vegetation and trees and stuff that was growing up against the building. That's all been cut down and weed whacked in there, and now it's been painted. You get the trim painted on that building, and probably a need for, well, not probably, a need for a new roof, and that'll be good for some time to come. And now it's looking pretty good. South Station's looking good. I want to commend the Massapequa High School for committing their athletic teams. I guess each team is committed to 4 hours of, each student on each team, 4 hours of community service. So when I was talking with the coaches of the soccer team, they had mentioned that the community has been supportive of athletics, and they feel that the students should give back to the communities and thank them, and this is a way of doing it. And those girls did a great job. Great job.
I understand it was the varsity that was on the old Central Station and the junior varsity on the South Waterboro Station?
The other way around.
The other way around.
Varsity was down the South Station. They had the cars. They could drive down there. They were older, and they had the cars to get the girls down there. It's... and we've taken some pictures, and maybe next Tuesday we can throw up some pictures of them painting the station. It was a great job. I hope this continues in years to come. There's some great projects around town that can be done with these students. The girls did a great job. It was also nice to see the teamwork. I mean, these kids play soccer together, and they had their coaches there, and they didn't waste any time. They got right to work, and they worked very well together. It was fun to see. Thank you.
Dennis? All set? Tim and Joe.
Yes. First, apologize for my attire. I'm a little casual tonight in jeans and t-shirt, but as I mentioned a few weeks ago, the Land Trust has some folks that are going to be coming in and working on building some hiking trails up on Ospey Mountain. And so folks will start seeing the Maine Conservation Corp in town starting tomorrow. They'll be here for the next 2 weeks. I was up on the mountain tonight finishing up marking the trails that they'll be cutting. So folks that live up on the McLucas Road, just to note that you're probably going to see a lot more activity over the course of the next couple of weeks. They do have trucks with trailers because they'll be hauling equipment up there, chainsaws and whatnot, so they'll be up there working starting tomorrow until next Friday, October 21st. And next Monday is the 12-town group here at 6:15. The 12-town group has invited the new county manager to attend and meet the town officials. I understand his intent is also to try to make a selectmen's meeting at each one of the towns over the course of the next couple of months. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be here next Monday for the 12-town group, so I was hoping somebody could fill in and be here to open and close up.
I have other meetings. I'll be around. I'll be at the town hall. I just have other meetings, so I can probably open it up. But I've actually have 2 meetings at the same time.
I'll be unavailable.
Yeah, you're going to go on.
We'll check. Let me see. What I might be able to at least come close up.
Usually they're here about 6:15 and they provide supper.
Which
So.
brings up another issue. Another report. Last Wednesday night, it was a Wednesday night, right? John and I and Tammy Jo went to the York County Budget Committee caucus.
Yes.
And Tammy Jo is now a representative from the town of Waterboro on the Budget Committee, so good for her.
we will get up close and personal accounts of the
Yeah.
community budget now.
Might not have any hair left, you know, when it's done, but pulling it out, but.
Tammy, can I ask, is there people, anyone that might want to volunteer, work on that trail?
Absolutely.
Who should they contact?
I'm actually the project manager for the project, so anybody that's interested in volunteering can contact me. And the number they can reach me at is 590-7438.
So do you need flea and tick collar, or?
Yes.
Do you have something?
No.
You all set now?
Yep.
Okay.
Rock and roll?
All right. I'm a little disturbed this evening by the number of hair jokes that have gone on.
Don't be splitting hairs.
That
Between
means-
Doug and Tammy, I'm feeling very self-conscious right now. It is with sadness that the board conveys to the members of the community the passing of the wife of our tax assessor, Jerry Daigle. Certainly our condolences go out to him and his family at this particularly bad time that they're going through. Funeral arrangements are going to be private, so again, our condolences there. I'd like to extend a welcome to a crew apparently that gathers every Tuesday night down at JD's to watch the Waterboro Board of Selectmen's meeting. I have been informed that we're not very fun to watch anymore because there's no fighting and yelling.
Just hair jokes.
Just bad hair jokes, I guess. But we will try at some point to inject some type of excitement into our proceedings so that they have something to look forward to down there.
I still have that whoopee cushion. You want me to stop bringing that?
Being discontent.
I suppose that would do it.
Well, Dennis's comment about the night after was a step in that right direction.
Yeah.
Could have t-shirts made.
Doesn't look too bad now.
Okay. Town Administrator.
No, how can I follow up with that one? Oh, we're getting ready for the quarterly reports for Thursday night, and then tomorrow night we have the goal setting. Walt Stinson, I've talked to him a couple of times, and he wanted to know if, with the flagging down to the transfer station, if you wanted him to flag where the wetlands are, so that we know not to go beyond that. He understands the other part, you know, that you find the pins and we'll blaze it out, or cut it out ourselves, but he wanted to know if we wanted that delineated, so we'll know where it is.
Where we have to stay away from the wetland.
I would think
Seems
that
like that
would be
would make
appropriate.
sense.
I think that has to,
Yeah, we don't want to get into...
because it's not just where the pins are, it's where
Where
the
you can go.
wetlands.
Right.
Yeah, the flagging would be good, because I don't think we could see the pins underwater anyway. So. Just a little excitement for our JD folks.
Well, I'm sure they're probably saying, we ought to be able to tell where the wetlands are, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, October 30th is the date that we have to notify in writing to department heads, boards, and committees on what their expectations and the timeline is for the next budget. So it would be nice if the board could decide if it's going to be line 0%, 1%, whatever, increase, so that we're not in the middle of the process and then all of a sudden it's like, why didn't we do it this way, why didn't we do it that way?
I guess that's a discussion we need to have next week.
Yeah, I thought I'd put it on the agenda. And David has gave copies of what has been given to the fireworks survey. The count did change tonight, David. Somebody on the board made a vote. But the first question on, would you be in favor of allowing consumer fireworks within the town limits? 34 responses, 25 said yes, so there's 73.5% in favor and 26.5% not in favor. And question 2, would you be in favor of allowing the selling of consumer fireworks within the town limits? 70, oh my goodness, now I can't read it, 70.6% said yes, and 29.4% said no. And would you be in favor of a permit process for consumer fireworks? 50% said yes, 38.2% said no, and 11.8% was not sure. There is also included is comments that were also sent in for the board to review. But we've had 34 responses so far for this week.
91.2% of that were residents of Waterboro,
Which is a
and
good sign.
8.8% was non-resident people that responded.
I did get a call today from our contract deputy and the sheriff. Apparently, one of the local paper called the sheriff and was looking for some information on the ordinance that the town was passing on fireworks. And I said, well, seeing as that's only an initial discussion that we've had so far, but I told them we'll probably be asking kind of for their input as well as from the fire department as we move through the process. And he just asked that we, keep him informed of what we decide to do.
Some interesting comments here.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to know if the town can tax the sales.
Arnold asked that question, I think.
Who?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh.
It's okay with giving permits here, except for people convicted of certain crimes. Didn't you say that fellow, like making bombs?
Arsonist.
So we're going to leave it up for the
Yeah.
survey?
Would you want to leave it up for a couple more weeks, or?
Yeah, I
I
would
think
think that
that'd
would
be
give
nice.
us
For another week, so.
maybe with a little discussion here tonight, more people will go search it out.
One person had a comment where they own a residence in town, but they're not a resident, so they weren't sure how to answer questions. We certainly welcome those, I guess we'd call them snowbirds or part-time residents of the community to voice their, concerns, and as well, it's open to everybody. We all set? Okay. Did the
Done.
board think of anything else? Okay, we'll have a road commissioner's report. It's not,
No, I just want to know if you want to look at the pictures on that. Had David download some pictures of what we was doing up there. If you want to look at it, good. If you don't, that's good too. It's just up to you.
well, I think it's the appropriate time under Selectmen's report. We'll take a look at
I don't
some,
want to hurry you, but I'm not going to hang around if you don't want to
we
look.
can,
Well, we can put it up underneath the committee report since the 2020 is not going to be here.
Right.
Sing when the screen comes down. So we don't have to
Okay.
just squeal.
Quiet tonight.
Somebody took out the WD-40.
While that's going on, and we're waiting for this to go up, can we move on with the new business
yes.
in the interest of time?
In the interest of time, new business, we're going to dispense with item 1 right now due to the unfortunate circumstance involving the tax assessor, and move on to item 2, discuss and vote on a junkyard permit renewal for Richard and Robin Lavigne. What's the board's wishes on that?
I would move to renew the junkyard permit.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to renew the junkyard permit for Richard and Robin Lavigne. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Are we any closer to being ready?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Oh, okay, then let's key it up. Let's key it up, and we'll have the road commissioner.
Yo.
Oh, in case you missed that, here you go.
He's got to get out his red laser.
Doug, here
This is the obstruction that we had. And, we didn't blast that. We took a hydraulic hammer up there and we broke up the ledge. We took about 15 or 17 wheeler loads of ledge out of this area. That's after the hammer. David's digging it out with his excavator. Okay, Dave? This is what we got after we got through the ledge. This is the water. That water's laying right now approximately 4 feet below the surface. And as you can see over here, this is pretty ooky material. And in this instance, we found about 12 inches of gravel under the road. Very little that we found more than 12 inches of gravel under the road. Next, that's a pipe that we're putting. That's a 6-inch pipe in a sock. We're using stone that come from our crushing operation. We're putting in about 18 inches of stone, and then on top of that, we're putting in drained sand up to within 18 inches of surface of the road. Then we're putting a shoulder on. That shows you, if you can see from right there to right there, if you can possibly see it, I guess, you know, you can see the breaks in the pavement, and that's caused by the water staying underneath the road and the heavy soil that was in here, and the road deflected, and as it deflects, it cracks, and that's what we're trying to stop. We're trying to stop this from there down to the bridge. It's a lot of that on that side of the road. That's just a closer look at, you can see the gaps, and you can see where there's, you know, water has ponded up in the road and caused it to break up more. See the line going right across right there? Well, there's water flow under the pavement right there. So we're trying to get the water down so it stays down at the 4-foot level rather than coming up into the sub-layer of the basic gravel. That's just another picture a little further down the road. This is standing looking down toward the bridge. You can see that we got a lot of cracks here. What was happening here, the water was running down here. There was no place for it to go. The ditch came out about 20 feet this side of the driveway that goes in, probably 40 feet this side of the guardrail. And all went along, the water would run out in the road, and we've had an ice problem there that's caused numerous accidents. I don't know if you can see it or not, but the guardrail's been hit several times there and several times over here by vehicles that went into some kind of a crash mode and hit, and we're trying to stop this from happening. I've had times in the spring when water's been coming up out of the road right here. That's where the ledge was right there. There's about a 25-foot long stretch of solid ledge. We found where it had evidently been blasted under the road because there's still wire, blasting wire showed up, but no blast was ever done in the ditch to find a place for the water to go. That's what the new culvert looks like. We went between these two posts right here. You can see where somebody's hit that post. That's an 18-inch solid ADS N12, a smooth bore pipe, and laying to the roadside of it and 6 inches deeper is a 6-inch ADS pipe. From here down, this is pretty much solid ledge, so we're not going to have any erosion. And we're getting water running through the stone all the way down. In another picture, you'll see the pool of water. There's the pool of water. It's running through the stone and going out through our erosion control product and down over the bank. You can see here how the road is broke up here and it's broke up out here. And that's what we were trying to eliminate. That's what we're trying to eliminate. This is where we've patched it. Fred had patched it in the past. And right now, this is probably 2.5 inches lower from there to there to there. There's a big dip in the road. And right beside that, we took out a rock. How big would you say that rock was? 4 yards?
Oh, good Lord, yes.
And we took that out, and then we hammered some rocks that were too big to take out with the excavator, so we broke them up and took them out. So we only planned to do about 300 feet of this ditch, but the further we went toward the new dam road, the more water we picked up. And the further we went, the more water we picked up. So we're actually, I just made the decision that we was going to go until we got back as close to the new dam road as we could. Thank you, Gordon. You're welcome. And again, with the policy that I'd like to set is we will fix the roads that we can fix and upgrade them to get the most life out of them we can. And the roads that we can't, we're going to put the coal patch to them and hold them because, you know, spending $50,000 to pave them when you got nothing underneath them is not going to do you any good. Having said that, that's why I want to take and spend the extra money and grind this piece of road right here, grade it, and put 2 inches of base on it, and next year we'll put an inch of finish coat over the top of it, and we should get 20 years out of that piece of road with what we're calling a minor construction project on it. Any questions?
Tom, how many years has Federal Street been since we haven't graded that right from the beginning?
Well, how many years has Chauncey been gone?
Yeah.
15 years before he passed away that we did that. So we did it the year after we took it back from the state, which caused us a great amount of grief. We spent a fortune over there, and we're going to spend some more.
That was the basic, thing we did, the underground.
But the underdrain is run 24 hours a day, 365 days a year ever since then. And if Chauncey was here, he didn't believe in that underdrain when we started. He said, that's a waste of time. And he was flagging for us. And by the time we got done, that underdrain was running 3 inches deep. He said, I'd have never believed it, but it's made a tremendous difference in the life of that road. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, referring back to the new business agenda. Item 3, discuss concealed firearm permit approval process.
What is the pleasure of the board on that? The chair is, historically, the chair's just signed those, I believe, right? I don't think it's gone before the board.
Yeah. And we're not the final say. Whether any of the ones that I've signed, or Tammy Jo signed, or anything that you've signed, I mean, we're ultimately not issuing a concealed weapons permit, right? So I think the only real issue is, should we develop some sort of a standard reply to the state police, or I think that's where they're going, right?
Yes.
That just says we do or we don't have any knowledge of the person.
What I used to write on all of mine was that we had no recommendation.
Well, the reason that I had it put in the executive session for last week was that I had some reservations on signing that from the standpoint of some of the individuals I did not know. Mm-hmm. And when I raised the question ostensibly to the other board members of, does anybody know this person, to get your assistance. I guess that at the time that I asked that question, it was, there were some other people present, and I was informed that the application is confidential, so that's why I had to bring it into an executive session last week to be able to try to ask that question. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be here last week because I wasn't feeling well, so it got put on the agenda now. And so I just wanted a mechanism to be able to say to the other members of the board, hey, did any of you know this person? Can you give me some feedback if you know, if you don't? I came from an environment where I had all that information present, and that's how I'm used to operating, is I have all the backgrounds in the Department of Human Services and the psychiatric reports and the criminal histories and everything upon which to make a decision, but we're not, because of the way that's set up here, I don't have that same option. And I guess there was a suggestion last week about maybe getting a stamp that said that, we have no qualified knowledge of this individual, and then just send it up like that. That way, there's, we don't, by virtue of our signature, automatically endorse the person one way or the other. That would be left to the state police to gather all that intelligence data and background information. But certainly if somebody on the board were to know that this individual that has applied, if there is a reason why we perhaps shouldn't, or we know something about this individual that may have a bearing on whether or not they get a license, a permit or not, we should be able to convey that somehow, so.
And that's the reason for this process right here, is it goes through the town and so if one person knew of an individual that they didn't feel was mentally competent or something like that, then they could object to it. Is that basically?
Yeah, but I mean, now you're putting yourself into a decision that says, I think, right? And I mean, this has kind of been a precedent over the years that the chairman has, and I know that I would say 99% of them that I answered was the same as Tammy Jo. I have really no knowledge of the person's background history, so I can't make a determination on that. So I think given that, and that's kind of been how we've approached it, other than getting into a formal review process that would have to be a confidential review process, I would defer that if the chair thinks that a standard statement on a stamp works, go buy the stamp, right? I mean, that's...
And to what John was saying, it's funny because we talked about this in the 12-town group meeting last month, and one town was talking about how they had the application. The person that had applied for the permit was known to the town officials as being somebody who was frequently in town hall. They thought was mentally unstable based on some of the comments and actions that had occurred within the town. And the board wrote on the application, here's our concern, we feel the person's mentally unstable, blah, blah, blah. And that application then becomes, the state did not deny the permit. They ran the appropriate, checks for psychs and, the criminal history and all that, and didn't find anything to deny the permit, but did tell the applicant that the town recommended this application not be approved and gave him a copy of it.
So it didn't do any good whatsoever. Yeah. So then probably a standard response, and until we get a stamp or something like that, maybe the chair can just write down no knowledge of this person. And just write it
Certainly
on
if you have
the
knowledge of the person, then you react to that, but other than that, I always refrain from making a,
No recommendation.
it doesn't, and I think we went through this years ago, didn't matter what we said. The state
right.
police are going to make the determination.
All right, I'll get with you tomorrow on the wording of the stamp, and
Yeah, Christine, get with Christine and she can
Okay.
order it.
we'll close that up. Item 4, as listed on the new business, I don't think that we're in a position to be able to discuss that. That would be something that we would have to do in executive session.
Well, I think the process we should bring up.
Process.
Right?
The process, is that
Yeah.
what we're looking at, is the process? Okay.
I mean,
I think we're looking at, last year, we took about 6 months to get through this, so, and it started right about this time, I think. So this year, it's, can we set a time, and who's going to be involved, and when it's going to start, how it's going to be done?
Well, if we have the same questionnaire as last year, so we're consistent, that's one thing. And then we have been going with 2 people. The whole board does the questionnaire, sits down, talks about it, and then 2 people sit down with the administrator, and it's been, I think last year was you and I.
Yes.
So this year it should be you and one of the other board members. That's how we've been doing it too, and,
Yeah.
one drops off
Yep.
and somebody new picks up, so that there's consistency. So it should be you and one of the other board members that then does the sit down with the administrator.
I'd recommend John.
I'm fine with that. I mean, John and I, we kind of started that process.
About 3 years ago.
Yeah, I
3 or
mean, you
4
and I
years.
started it,
longer than
and then I think Cindy and I, and then Cindy and you. So it's got to go back 5 years probably. But so it's time for either John or myself,
Okay.
I guess. So if John wants to do it, that's fine with me.
Fine.
And I think my only suggestion is this year is I'd like to see us take the questionnaire, give it to the town administrator, and have the town administrator provide us how she rates herself in those areas. Yeah.
So okay, so it's Gordon and I, then the thing is the process in doing this. We have a form, don't we,
Yep.
Nancy? I think we've had a
think-
form that
I
we've
think
used.
I have it.
Yeah, I
Tammy
think
Jo
Tammy
has it.
Jo might
I don't
have it.
have it.
And then, okay, I don't know if Gordon, do we need to discuss this as a board, or do you want Gordon and I to go through it?
I'm good with you 2 guys setting up the timeline, and let's get it done.
And come back to you with it? Okay.
I'd like it to be done before January 1st, though.
Well, nice to
I
be
wanna
done.
set-
So would I.
I want to set a deadline
So
on
would
it now.
Nancy.
Yeah.
I know that we've got a lot coming up. How about, does anybody have any objections to no later than November 15th?
No, that works for me.
Let's see what day that is.
15th's a Tuesday.
That would be good. How about no later than November 15th?
Sounds good.
We all in agreement?
Is that when you want the questionnaires completed, or you?
No,
want
that's
the
when we
review
want to
done?
have the evaluation done.
So what we're going to need to do is get the questionnaire and get it out to the 5 selectmen, and get it back at,
And to the town administrator, to have her evaluate herself.
and have, yeah.
I think I've got it on my flash drive at home. I'll peek for it tonight.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else to add to that? Okay. Moving along to old business. Discuss and vote to finalize sidewalk snow removal contract with Property Care and Preservation. What's the board's recommendation?
I
Or
guess my only question is, was there any reason for us to not believe that they will meet the intent of the contract?
I take it this was discussed at last week's meeting.
Right, I mean, we opened the bids.
I think the
They-
question was, did they understand that the sanding
Right.
was included?
Right,
And so there would need to be a follow-up call.
so, go ahead.
I did call and speak with him, and he said, yes, he understood that. And then I did also get the 3 references, they were all very good.
Yep.
So then the next step would be to have him come in and sign the contract, correct? Or,
So, we said we'd award the contract as long as everything
long as
panned out.
everything
So it sounds
panned
like a
out.
bid, so.
Okay, for
Wonderful.
For my benefit, who is this, who runs this?
Property
Property care and
preservation.
preservation was out of Hollis, I believe. There were 4 bids, high of
So
84, 84, I think, was the high,
right.
and 47 was the low. So,
Good, done then.
Well, is there anything that we have to,
We voted on it last week, so.
oh, okay, so the discussed vote is,
unless there's some reason that would have come up that we would have said, oh, maybe not, then I think,
So yeah, you voted to conditionally grant the award, so.
Right.
okay.
And the conditions have been met, I would say.
So, sounds like we've got a new contractor.
Okay,
I just can fill out the contract with the new information, then he can come in and sign it, and
right.
the selectmen can sign it.
The motion, Gordon, for your information, was Tammy Jo move to conditionally award the bid to Property Care and Preservation of Hollis Center after confirming that they understood that they are salting and sanding as well as checking references. Selectman Woodson seconded that, and we voted all 4 yea. So,
very good,
done.
thank you. Item 2 is the audit update.
I did hear from Chris, and he says they are right on schedule. So
So 2 more weeks.
a couple more weeks, yeah.
Good.
He just had a problem with the fixed asset. He couldn't open up my file, and I resent it today, and he said he could open it, so.
Good.
The chair will entertain a motion to accept the warrants for bills and payroll.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the warrants for bills and payroll. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Chair's not present. Chair will accept a motion to accept the minutes of 10/4/2011.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes of October 4th, 2011. All those in favor? Opposed? Abstained? We have pending decisions. The fireworks ordinance. We, as I said, have that survey out. I know that the town administrator has garnered some ordinances from other municipalities that we would have an opportunity to review at some point. So that'll be something that we'll be scheduling in the future for further discussion. Public service announcements. We probably need to get with our radio station, our TV station over there in Hollis and see what we can do to further that. That's been a pending item for a while.
David can do them too.
Excuse me?
David's done a couple of them.
Ah, okay. All right. I thought the last I heard it was over there, but if you can do
We
it.
certainly can use the studio there, or we can get together there as well. But like, for instance, Tammy Jo with Land Trust was looking at doing one outdoors at one of the parks, that type of thing, so whatever you figure, just let me know.
Okay. Performance bonds, where do we stand on that? I thought that was,
Isn't it resolved?
I thought that was resolved.
yeah, so that's why I was.
Other than,
Go back to planning because of the attorney's
right,
recommendations.
it's got to go back to them, and then it's got to go back through the process of public hearings, but I think the work has been done.
Yeah, okay, so we're just waiting for some,
There's an issue too, that was raised in the planning board last week. Why, I think Natalie's suggesting that we have 2 public hearings, one of the planning board and one of us, about the same issue, whatever it is. And I think the ordinance does not, or the charter doesn't say, does not say you have to have two. And they're questioning why is Natalie saying we need to have two? They feel it's a waste of time and money.
I think Natalie's, and I'm not a lawyer, but I think the process has been that the planning board has to make a recommendation to the board. In order for them to do that, they have to have public input. So there comes public meeting number one, right? And then we have, before we can enact a change to the ordinance, we have to have the same thing. I think that's where she's coming from, is that, now, can you do that concurrently? I'm not sure why you couldn't.
On some issues, I can see that it could be done that way, you know?
Right. So you have the planning board's recommendations. We already have their recommendations, right? Other than that there was some question from, in the legalese of it, right? That's now been addressed. So they've got the package ready to be presented to the board. So the public hearing would be on that package. I'm not sure, and I guess maybe that's a question that we fire back to Natalie, is can we run those public hearings concurrently? Can it be a public hearing of the planning board and the Board of Selectmen?
I'm not sure it could be concurrent, but I think what it could be is back-to-back. I think what you could possibly do is have the planning board and the Board of Selectmen together at the same meeting, have the planning board public hearing, and close that public hearing, and then open up the Selectmen's public hearing.
But if the recommendation, I mean, the planning board has to vote on their recommendation to send to the board, and if it changes after the public hearing, then don't they have to have
Yes.
another
That's
public
why,
hearing?
that's why you couldn't have them concurrently,
Right.
but they
Well,
could
yeah,
vote
but
on, they could,
No, they
could,
couldn't.
Assuming
No,
that
you couldn't. You mean at the same night?
yeah.
No, you couldn't, because if they have a public hearing as a change, they're going to have to go back
But
and
if they
hold
don't
a...
change, if they just say.
If they
oh,
don't change, it's fine, but if they make a change, then you can't hold a public hearing.
That's right.
So that's,
So
that
if
would
it would
be,
only could be done that way if you're pretty doggone sure that they're gonna, that it's not gonna be changed.
well, my only suggestion of that was, is we've already had a public hearing for the planning board. They've endorsed it. They sent it to us. We had a public hearing, which we kind of pulled back our horns a little bit and said, wait a minute, we gotta have legal review of this. Legal review has now come back and it's changed some of the language. So, I mean, this is like, pardon my expression, polishing turds a little bit, right? I mean, it's really a done deal, right? I mean, anyway, I guess if legally we have to go through that scenario, I'm still not sure why they couldn't have a public hearing, vote on it. I mean, ultimately, they have to vote on it, we have to vote on it. Our vote has to be at one of our meetings. Doesn't have to be the same night as the public hearing, but I guess that would be a question for Natalie. Can we run both public hearings on the same night or concurrently or whatever scenario you want to paint?
Could be problematic.
Maybe cleaner just to do two of them, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Committee self-evaluations, I think everybody's still looking, with those.
Well, we're in new committees too, right? Some of,
Yep.
a new year anyway.
Work with Logan Circle residents on water runoff issue.
Yep, and I get a call from Mike Bouthelette that I need to return on that. I said I would work with them, so that's in the works. As is the next one, the driveway opening permit language.
I was, regarding the first one, I thought that the road commissioner was looking into something up there as
That's
well.
a different issue.
The different issues, okay.
He's looking at the drainage easement up on Waterboro.
All right. Okay, research deed for a budding lot offered for sale on Moon Penny Lane. where do we stand on that? Is that in the hands of the attorney? or-
No, Jerry's looking at that.
Okay, so that'll be a few
Who's
weeks.
who's looking at it?
Jerry.
Jerry, the assessor? Okay. The transfer station boundary, I think this reverts to your
Yes.
comment earlier that...
Yes, and then
Okay.
he said once he gets the answer, then he will submit a new quote. And they also have, I received the breakdown from Lucas, and because I sent that right into Walt this morning, so he has that.
Okay. Economic Development Committee status.
Beating the brushes to try and find some members, and
Okay.
Well, let's
Oh, I know that we
turn up
have,
the flame here a little bit, I guess, if we,
I know that we have a few new businesses in town. It may be that someone could take the initiative to contact those business owners and see if we couldn't bring them on board.
they have to be residents of Waterboro,
and they don't necessarily have to be a business owner.
right?
Just really need to be a citizen of Waterboro with
Okay.
some level of interest in economic development.
And some of those new businesses, they don't live in town.
So they would be in WAB, but not in the
Right.
EDC. Okay. So if there is any resident of the community that would like to participate in the Economic Development Committee, we would certainly wholeheartedly welcome their participation in that.
As we would for people that are interested in perhaps serving on the Public Safety Committee and the Conservation
Committee.
Commission. I think we've got an opening on the Finance Committee,
Right.
That's what I meant before when I said land trust.
the Conservation
Maybe
Commission.
that's what- Yeah, the
Yep.
public service announcement, conservation committee.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
So when's the last time that we've really done any, I mean, other than we put our annual flyer in the in the weekly shopper's guide or whatever, budget saver or whatever? I mean, have we really tried to stimulate some, I
Interest?
mean, it would be nice if the Waterboro Reporter did an article and said, hey, the town is looking for,
Well, you know, we can do guest articles. I know John's done a couple for the Waterboro Reporter. Maybe as a board, what we do is we do a guest article that, you know, somebody from the board writes and all five of us sign about volunteerism in the community and committees.
I mean, it would be nice to get a commitment from them up front that they would at least entertain publishing something. But,
Yeah, I mean, that was back when I was being paid to write those articles.
yeah.
They wanted to save money, so I didn't write anymore.
Well, there's
that'd
a real, how do you do public servant right there.
Pay me and I'll write it. But no, I'll be happy to, let me talk with.
Oh, what's funny is, you look at the other sections of the current publisher, or whatever they call themselves, okay? I mean, Wyndham and that area, they have great coverage. I mean, they have a great newspaper over there. This thing that we have around here is about like reading, I don't know what.
Well, it's turned into a weekly sports report, basically.
The weekly reader that you had in school?
I mean, they do have some great papers
Yep.
in this system,
Yep.
but we're on the end of the pipe that's being flushed.
I think they still publish the current in the greater Portland area, which is, you have, it's like the Portland Press, you gotta buy the,
Yeah.
it's not a free paper.
Okay. Week's action list. I guess we have to firm up that contract with the property care and preservation.
This may be an agenda item, or it could be put to, and that is that the North Station, fire station. I was talking with the chief today, and I guess something needs to be done there, because we're not using it, and the owner of the property wants it, the property as it was before the station was built. So that means taking it down. So I guess, I don't think we as a Board of Selectmen want to get into the specifics of how you do that, whether you take it down, set it on fire, or how you get rid of it. But I think if Matt and Nancy got together, came up with a plan and a cost of that plan, and came back to us. So I don't know if we want to put that on the agenda to talk about, that would be my recommendation, is give it to Matt and Nancy and come back to us with a plan and the cost.
There was already 2 costs submitted to
I
the
thought we were
board
going to talk about that for a
Of,
budget project.
of
in the budget
removing the
cycle.
building.
One was removing the building, and about 8,000 or something like that. But also we're talking
As a
about,
budget
is there a way
item,
of doing
it's
it
gonna
by
cost money, so
the
we're
fire
talking about
department
doing
burning it, and then just taking up the foundation? And it could be a heck of a lot less.
And also the boiler that's up there, we could take that down and put it in the highway department so that they would have something in the barn.
Oh, the stuff, I mean, the door. I understand a person wants that door, and that person that wants the door you might give them the door if you'll take up the foundation. But I think Matt and Nancy can work out those things. I don't think we need to put $8,000 into it. But if they can come up with a couple of plans and come back to us with those. And then get on with it. I mean, if we have the money this year, if it's $1,000 or whatever, we have the money to do it this year. Otherwise, we need to put it in the budget for next year. And the budget season's coming up pretty quick, so.
I'd like to see the sign that's up there removed and placed for historical purposes in the new central station where they have the other one. I think that would be consistent with what we've been doing. And
So, anyway, is that something that we can do, that people are happy to say, Matt and Nancy do it, or do we want to put on an agenda to tell them that next week?
If the 5 of us have to decide what's going to happen, it'll take us months. So let's,
Exactly.
you know,
That's why we pass it on.
in the interest of time, let's just have Matt and the town administrator
Okay.
take care of it.
Great.
If everyone's in agreement in that time-saving aspect.
So it's not going to be tabled.
No,
Okay.
no. Reminders,
Agenda items?
let's back up. I was trying to be helpful to one of the other selectmen who has some commitments this evening, and just agenda items. Go ahead.
Last week, I had asked that we have an agenda item this week to talk about our restructuring plan and where we're going with cross-training. And I see it didn't make it on there, so if we could get that on for next week.
And we have Central Maine coming in next week, right?
that'll take,
That Dennis has been looking forward
if
to.
if tonight's meeting was any indication of how long it's going to take, we ought to probably have
Luncheon meeting.
a
Light schedule.
skinny meeting. Let's not put a lot of stuff on it.
Do they have anything out scheduled for next week, do you know?
That's the only thing that comes to
Yep.
Okay, why don't we leave it at that then? Restructuring and CMP.
Oh, and don't forget the budget process. The budget process.
And the kickoff of the budget
Yep.
process of
Yeah.
expectations.
Yeah, because it should get it out, because the 30th is on a Sunday, so we'll have to get it out within the next couple of weeks.
And I'll just remind the board that I will not be present next week or the week after, because
We need a,
my daughter is getting married and I'll be out of state,
Are you
so.
going to be around to set the agenda on Friday?
President.
This Friday?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Is the first part of it.
Yeah, I'm not leaving until the first of the week. So, we all set now?
Oh, think of all the hair jokes. Next couple of weeks.
Well, if I'm not here to hear them, then I'm not as bothered by them. My hackles won't be raised.
I thought you were calling for an adjournment.
Well, I would, but I have to do these reminders, or David will give me that long, slow look that he gives down there. And okay, hopefully the dates are correct. Wednesday, October 12th, from 4 to 8 p.m., the Board of Selectmen goal setting at the Town Hall Annex.
I think we were going 4 to 6, because there's a lot of folks with commitments.
Okay, so we're going to change that right now to 4 to 6. Okay, also Wednesday, October 12th at 6 p.m., the Road Review Committee will meet at Town Hall. Thursday, October 13th at noon, the senior luncheon at the Snowmobile Club. While I'm on seniors, everybody ought to be reminded to get their flu shot. You can get them at any pharmacy or anything, because that season's coming up. Thursday, October 13th at 6 p.m., the Finance Committee for Department Quarterly Reviews at the Town Hall Annex. Monday, October 17th at 6:30 p.m., the 12-town group will meet at the Town Hall Annex. On Monday, October 17th at 7 p.m., the Charter Review Commission will meet at Town Hall. And Tuesday, October 18th at 6 p.m., there'll be a non-exciting selectmen's meeting that takes place with the EMA director and the fire department will be the featured speakers. Did I miss anything that anybody would like to have mentioned?
Motion to adjourn.
The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been,
Okay.
all those in favor? Opposed? Good night.